terrorism plot involving a Florida man who's been charged with planning to bomb the New York Stock Exchange.
Population?
On Wednesday, the
less than
FBI
yesterday.
arrested 30-year-old Abdul
Never been so glad to see backup arrive.
homeless man
Well,
living in
lucky
Coral
I'm
Springs,
still in one
Florida,
piece.
who sought to make third class the
I need you to
economic
look for
center of the
survivors.
Western world
Subdue any
a
threats.
week before
Help me save
Thanksgiving.
this town.
He allegedly wanted to force what he described as a, quote, reboot or reset in the U.S. government. He told undercover FBI agents that America was, quote, due for a revolution, and hoped his planned attack would serve as the match that lit the proverbial fuse. A report from Court Watch. Yanera first came on the radar of the FBI back in February after the agency received a tip that a man was stolen bombing the schematics and materials in the storage unit in Coral Springs during an intrusive
Hey, it is only temporary, but I hope it starts hurting soon.
Landmines, explosives, and missiles. Several days later, agents returned with a formal search warrant and discovered additional bomb-making sketches, electronic circuit boards, and other components that
come here to
used
fuck
build
around.
an improvised explosive. At the time, Yanera claimed he was using volatile chemical mixtures to build homemade rockets. The FBI then sent in undercover agents who made contact and ingratiated themselves to Yanera. He quickly tasked these agents with various assignments to obtain explosive materials. Regarding his choice of a target, he reportedly told undercover agents, quote, "Here is one place that would be hella easy. The stock exchange, that would be a great hit. Tons of people would support it. Wake people up," end quote. So it would be like a, quote, small quit-off, and hope the blast would kill everyone inside of it.
Too fucking close.
The court filings over the last month, Yanera had rewired several two-way radios to serve as remote detonators and told agents that he planned to disguise himself in order to plant the explosives. At one point, he told undercover agents, quote, "I feel like Bin Laden." By all accounts, Yanera is a deeply troubled man who holds strong anti-government sentiments. Really? Well, there's some expert profiling for you. He was known to post YouTube videos about how to make explosives with household items, and importantly, had a history of making violent threats. He was fired from his job at a local restaurant last year after allegedly threatening to, quote, "go Parkland's shooter in this place." Court records describe Yanera as a man who flirted with a number of extremist ideologies. At one point, over Facebook Messenger on instance, but ultimately declined, did not succeed in the long term, so really ISIS, as far as he was concerned, wasn't up to snuff. He didn't want to join that club. He also attempted to join the Boys and Proud Boys, but was turned down by both expressing a desire to pursue martyrdom. No doubt, frankly, being turned down by various extremist groups did nothing for his self-esteem. On November 12th, he recorded a message in the presence of undercover agents that he intended to release to NBC News in the wake of his bombing, which he planned to execute sometime this week. Part of the recording said, quote, "What you've just witnessed at the stock exchange was just the beginning of a new era, a new revolution. We ask and encourage others to follow suit in their pursuit for a change," end quote. Yanera was formally charged Wednesday with attempting to use an explosive device to damage or destroy a building used in interstate commerce.
Ooh, looks like you're going up your buddies a bit.
Trial and is due back in court on 47. The Iranian regime and its IRGC have been hiking missiles from development in a number of its northern sector. And Texas offers land for deportation facilities as sanctuary cities push back against Trump's plans. I'll have those stories when we come back. Welcome back to the meeting. Okay, let's turn our attention to the Iranian regime, which reportedly is getting creative in their efforts to circumvent international sanctions in their pursuit of advanced weaponry. According to an exclusive report from Fox News, leaders in Tehran have been turning Iranian companies into front companies to hide their development of advanced ballistic missiles. Specifically, the mullahs are using
That's what you get.
Gas, petrochemicals, and electronic components. These companies can produce items purportedly for use within their own industry without much scrutiny. And then these items are then transferred to the Iranian military to develop missiles and drones. The revelation comes from the National Council of Resistance of Iran, the NCRI. It's a group based in Europe, founded by Iranian dissidents that seek to overthrow the theocratic regime. Sources tied to the group, embedded inside the Iranian regime and its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have reportedly worked for months to compile information on how the civilian workforce is being leveraged to support the regime's weapons program. The deputy director of the NCRI told Fox News, quote, the Iranian regime's missile program is not limited to the dozens of known military sites. It's building a sophisticated network of commercial companies to cover up the true extent of corrupt missile programs, as well as evading sanctions and accountability, end quote. The NCRI report cites several Iranian companies that hold little-known contracts with the IRGC and Iran's Ministry of Defense.
Activating decoy.
While they say the executives are well aware of how they're being used to bypass sanctions, employees reportedly remain largely ignorant of the fact that their labor is aiding Iran's weapons development. In some recent days, however, the regime's activity has been
Max Arma.
In one example, the NCRI report said that a company working in the dairy industry produced dozens of aluminum tanks that were then transferred to the regime, despite, of course, aluminum being banned in the dairy industry.
Be honest, I'd rather have a stove.
In another example, electronics factory without need producing electronic boards for missiles and drones, under the direct supervision of the IRGC, which reportedly controlled access to those facilities. The activity comes little surprise, given Iran's long history of circumventing Western sanctions on their various weapons programs. As we discussed earlier this week on the PDB, the regime continues to make progress on their nuclear program, despite sanctions from Britain, the US, and the European Union. Analysts say that Iran is determined to strengthen their missile program, both to support their nuclear development and in light of the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, which have seen Iran and Israel, of course, trade multiple blows. An official of the NCRI told Fox News, quote, the missile program serves two purposes for the regime. One is arming its regional proxies, including Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. And the second, which is of strategic significance, is building missiles capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. Last year, the U.S. in a grand statement of the obvious declared Iran's missile program, quote, one of the greatest challenges to international non-proliferation efforts. Thank you for that insight. The U.S. has since partnered with European allies to issue several rounds of targeted sanctions, but as this new report shows, Iran continues, apparently, to make gains.
One less mouth to feed.
Okay, shifting stateside. Texas is taking the lead in supporting President-elect Donald Trump's sweeping immigration agenda, offering 1,400 acres of borderland to build detention facilities for what Trump calls, quote, the largest deportation of violent criminals in the nation's history, end quote. The Texas General Land Office framed the
Even after that record, this packer punch shit still blows my mind.
touting the rural ranch as a critical hub for post-processing, detention, and coordination of the mass deportation effort. Texas Land Commissioner John Buckland emphasized the state's commitment, stating, quote, we can carry this into a detention center on, and described Trump's pledge to deport millions of undocumented migrants as essential for public safety. The Trump plan faces challenges, of course, regarding funding and logistics, not to mention enormous pushback from Democrats and from this perspective. ICE's 2023 budget for transportation and deportation is $420 million. Facilitating the removal of migrants that year himself. Apparently,
I'm gonna look back on this someday and grin my fucking ass off.
And that resulted in 140,000 migrants being deported. Now that would seem, I'm not that much of a math whiz, but that would seem to equate to a cost of about $3,000.
Establishing sentry turret.
This pales in comparison to the scale of Trump's proposal, which would target the estimated 11 million undocumented individuals in the U.S., according to the Department of Homeland Security. Experts caution that implementing such a plan, if we're talking about 11 million people, could lead to deportation costs reaching into the billions. However, The stated goal of the incoming administration, as they pointed out, is to focus on those illegals who have committed crimes, as well as those who have been previously slated for deportation, but
Good,
still
clean
remain in the
fun.
country.
Well, not
Kathleen
clean
Puss
per
Joseph
se.
of the Migration Policy Institute underscored logistical hurdles, noting that detainees from across the country would need to be transported to the
See that one head bump off?
for
Don't let it
centralized
escape.
processes of deportation, compounding the worst financial and operational burdens. While Texas positions itself as the epicenter of Trump's immigration crackdown, resistance is mounting across the country. Sanctuary cities, dominated by Democrat leaders, of course, doubled down on their refusal to cooperate with Trump's efforts to restore law and order in immigration enforcement. In Los Angeles, the city council, in a rather standard display of self-righteous virtue signaling, unanimously passed a sanctuary ordinance this week, barring the use of city resources for federal immigration enforcement.
That must have been dead
Mayor
slick.
Karen Bass expedited the measure in
Good
direct
guy.
response to Trump's proposal, declaring that the
Lucky
city
to
would
stick
not
around
support
the end, though.
mass
Wonder
deportations.
what the key's for.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson echoed this defiance,
All right, Riffle.
pledging that the
Let's see
city's
what you've been
police force
keeping
will
locked up
not
in here.
cooperate with federal
Good
authorities
find. That's
in
gotta be the
apprehending
handbrake for the
undocumented
thrustidine
migrants. Although you could argue police would actually like to see an effort to deport the criminals. Yeah, that might be something that they can get on board with. Meanwhile, New York City is buckling under the weight of its immigration crisis, having received over 200,000 migrants as of 2022 at a cost of $5 billion in housing expenses. According to the New York Times, ICE's immigration and national allows local police departments to deputize officers who assist with federal immigration enforcement. Despite this, the NYPD has voted to participate, and since 2014, New York City has
Welcome to the grinder, meathole.
Trump's need for counter assistance is not only people who have to elect their lives. Trump's chosen border czar elected more sanctuary cities.
Dumb fuck never knew what hit.
Speaking of Fox News, Hogan stated, quote, "We're going to do the job with you or without you," end quote. All right, coming up in the back of the brief, President-elect Trump loses a cabinet pick as Matt Gaetz withdraws as nominee for Attorney General. I'll have those details when we come back. In today's back of the brief, President-elect Donald Trump nominated Pam Bondi, his former Attorney General, as the next U.S. Attorney General. Matt Gaetz abruptly withdrew earlier Thursday following controversy over allegations of sexual misconduct. Trump praised Bondi's record in a Truth Social post on Thursday evening, emphasizing her nearly 2 decades as a prosecutor and her tenure as Florida's first female Attorney General. He noted her work to combat drug trafficking and to reduce fentanyl overdose deaths, calling her efforts, quote, incredible. Trump's post further stated, quote, "Pam will refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safer." Bondi previously served on Trump's Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission during his first term, earning praise for her efforts to address the opioid epidemic. Her nomination reflects Trump's commitment to a Justice Department that aligns with his, quote, "America First" agenda. Now, Gates' withdrawal came after significant scrutiny, including a House Ethics Committee investigation into alleged sexual misconduct with a minor. Claims, of course, which he
That's gonna
strongly
attract some
denies.
attention. Keep the
While
hostiles
the
clear.
Justice
We
Department
need to
dropped
build
the
pressure
program
behind that
this
dog.
year, the ethics panel deadline this week on whether to test its findings. Gates, in a post on X, stated, quote, "While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction in the critical work of the Trump-Gates transition." For Trump, Biden's nomination represents a focus on loyalty and proven experience as he gears up for his second term. However, she is expected to face a contentious confirmation process, with their close ties to Trump likely to draw scrutiny.
If you need to tap out,
And that, my
X-Ray
friends,
Hill is ready to
is the
go.
President's Daily Brief for Friday, 22 November. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And, well, look at that. It's Friday again. Now, if you've been a faithful member of the PDB community, and I certainly hope
Never too old to be a bad motherfucker. chump. Keep go running.
Oh, damn.